because we have a lot of artwork to cover. And I'm going to keep it no more than 2 hours, so we can get through this. Yeah, look at you. It's like, oh no, 2 hours. Yeah.
I see that face too, but
he's like, oh no, 2 hours.
Well, I won't be with you that long, but that's okay.
I know. Thank you. Well, thank you for hanging out. So let me just formally introduce myself. I'm Carolyn Goodridge, the Executive Director and Founder of Art Impact International. I'm so happy to see you here today. This would be the fourth and last of our gallery talks. And I wanted to say again, thank you all for your condolences. It continues. People tell me it'll take a while for me to get used to my dad not being here. But I did want to make an announcement in the beginning, is that there's so many delays because of the upset for the family. That's our patriarch, Daddy was 96 years old when he passed, and he left a true legacy, and also a lot of kids and grandkids and great grandkids. So we had to take care of business. So I wanted just to let you know that I'm going to extend our exhibition for 1 more month to sort of make up for the delays that have happened for this. So I know you guys have been with me, and I love you and I appreciate everything that you do. So this is my way of saying thank you. I'm just going to extend it. And also it's a way for me to breathe a little bit too. Okay, so that we can, I did start the exhibition catalog. It's going along well. So like I said, I will change what we have out there to reflect that our exhibit ending will be January 31st. So do you guys like that idea?
sounds good.
Very good.
Great.
Very good.
Great. All right, so let's get started. This is our exhibit webpage. I probably should have clicked the so this is Robert's pieces here, right?
Right.
And we're not going to start talking yet, but I just want to sort of go around the galleries. Here we go. So these rooms, they're like I believe three rooms here. And you to move around, you just use your mouse. You hold down the mouse and you just go around, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is an adjoining room. This is Jamila's. Very beautiful. So what we're trying to do with this exhibition is just remind people of gender equality, right? So we have altogether, we have 55 of the artists. This is Judith's work here in this section. And Judith is with us now. I see her. Hi, Judith.
Hi.
Great. So how about, okay, so you guys can see this is her area of the gallery.
Did you want me to talk now?
Let me just,
Okay, sorry.
yeah, I just wanted to do two things. I wanted to show them where it is, and then I also wanted to go to your webpage and introduce you correctly, okay? And then you can speak, Judith. So,
Okay.
so this is the list of the artists, so you guys can see to access their information. It's here on the main page. And so I'm going to just read the bio, and then you guys, and then Judith can speak about her work. Okay, so Judith grew up in Winchester, Massachusetts. She earned a BA and MBA and was awarded the distinction of Presidential Scholar. She spent a year studying in Paris with a group of 20 students and a professor who drove them all over France, visiting the great cathedrals and museums. She attributes her love of art to having been fortunate enough to visit the private studios of Picasso, Matisse, and Winslow Homer, and to her years as an executive traveling to cities at home and abroad, where she always made time to visit art galleries and museums. In 2001, Judith retired from a successful career as an executive in the high-tech industry. A month after retiring, she unplugged from that world, let her laptop and cell phone at home, and took a self-imposed 5-month sabbatical to Malolo Island, off the coast of Fiji. Known to worldwide for their capacity to nurture, the Fijians recognized Judith's need to guard her privacy while she slowly recovered from the relentless demands of the ever-changing world of communication dictated by the internet. Sleeping, riding, and swimming in the South Pacific Ocean gradually helped wash away the remnants of that rat race. What emerged was a desire for a more contemplative, introspective, and creative life. In 2010, Judith rescued her first piece of found metal and made it into a wall sculpture, thus becoming a self-taught sculptor. Judith lives with her husband and artisan, John, Lily, the cat, and her beloved hearing dog, Annabelle, where she makes both her home and studio in Aquidnet Island in Portsmouth, Rhode Island, 6 miles from Newport. Okay, so that's Judith. Judith, welcome. Thank you for coming and sharing your lovely art. What I'm going to do is ask you just to talk about a little more than what I've read in your bio and what you really, your statement about this show, Femme Champions, and then we'll get into your artwork.
Okay. I think it's probably important for you all to know that on May 29th, 2020, I was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. And since then, I have become an Alzheimer's advocate. And in fact, this afternoon, believe it or not, I am featured at another art opening in Tiverton, Rhode Island. And the name of the show is Show Ho Ho Art for Alzheimer's. And I tell you this because it's made a very big difference in art, how I see things, how I think about the world. And after my diagnosis, it wasn't long before I determined that I was going to spend the rest of my life leaving a legacy of love and laughter. And by that I mean talking about the disease out in the open so people aren't afraid to be around people who have Alzheimer's or dementia. And as far as my art is concerned, this piece that we're looking at now is called Ode to the Middle East. It's actually not in the show this afternoon. It's sitting right over there, if you can see it, on a table in my living room. And I tend to create art that I like to think of it as sort of my art is my voice. And I get myself pretty worked up when beautiful old cathedrals and mosques and minarets and so on get destroyed by terrorists. And this piece is a reflection of that. It's a celebration of these beautiful, beautiful, old buildings that are centuries old. And, most people don't realize that, for instance, Jonah's tomb, which was a minaret, was worshipped by Muslims, Jews, and Christians. So for the terrorists to go in there and wipe it out is silly.
Right. Very good. So we'll get to Pemberley.
And Pemberley For those of you Jane Austen lovers, which I am, she's my all-time favorite author, Pemberley is the name of the main character, Darcy's estate. And this is a very interesting piece. The found metal, as you can see, is very beautiful. I had a lot of fun with this piece because even though I'm not much into realism in my art, I wanted the Pemberley, the estate itself, to have kind of a, kind of a crusty look like an old estate would have. And so what I ended up doing, folks, I'll tell you my secret was I put in the paint the grit that you dump in paint when you want to paint a sidewalk or some stairs outside so that people don't slip on it. And it created this nice bumpy surface. And, you know, I love it. And this is one of my favorite pieces ever because I love the story Pride and Prejudice, which is where Pemberley comes in.
Wow, beautiful. And Requiem for Odette.
Yes, my husband and I are both ballet lovers. I've gone to the ballet my whole entire life. Odette is the swan who dies for love in Swan Lake. And I hope you can all see that. It was kind of a cool thing to find these metal parts and make a sculpture. And all of my wall sculptures involve shadows. I'm a Jungian at heart. I loved studying and reading Carl Jung's works. I loved and have loved exploring the qualities and the devilishness of my own dark side. And I have to say that every one of my wall sculptures does involve shadows.
Very good. Wow. Gorgeous work, Judith. Does anyone have any questions they'd like to ask Judith or any feedback about her pieces? Oh, actually, there's one more piece here. So, sorry.
That's okay. This piece is called conveniencia. Conveniencia is a term that harkens all the way back to the 14th century for you scholars. And what it refers to is a time in the Middle East, believe it or not, when Christians, Jews, and Muslims all lived in relative harmony. Imagine, I mean, this is a wonderful piece of very heavy found iron, as you can see. And I didn't paint it because I think it's wonderful in and of itself. And I have to say that it's interesting when you've been diagnosed with a disease like I have, I find myself thinking more and more about the most important things in the world. And I will tell you that I had just rehung this piece this summer when in a different room, when I went to the beach and I was walking on the beach and I started chatting with this lovely Muslim American man and all his family and everything. And one thing led to another. And you get courage. You say what's in your heart. There's not ego involved when you have this disease. And I looked at him. Our faces were about this far apart. And I said, Taj, I was sitting in my hummingbird garden this afternoon, communing with my beloved Holy Spirit out loud. And I said to him, Holy Spirit, are Jesus and Allah up there beating the crap out of each other and trying to kill each other like people are down here? And Taj looked at me and said, no, God is God. Now, how about that for a cool story?
Very good. Very good. Wow, that's awesome.
This is called convivencia, but I'm here to root for a neo-convivencia where all the great religions get along.
Right, right. Thank you so much for your passion and your message, Judith. It's just wonderful. It really mimics what we want to convey in Art Impact International, that there are no borders. The borders represent egos, actually, for each country. And there, once you transcend those, as we did a show in Rome, we called it transcending boundaries. It's really transcending what we feel, how we identify ourselves and what separates us. But as you with this convivencia, you're trying to unite, and that's what we need to do if we're going to survive. So thank you for that, and thank you. And yes, the shadows that are cast with your work, the way you have it mounted and shown, it really is wonderful. It really is spectacular. So that's my comment for your artwork. I'm going to go back to your main page so people can see all 4 and comment on any one or all that they would like to speak with you about. So guys, if you would like to unmute yourselves and give feedback to Judith.
The last piece, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, the last piece, for some odd reason, when I saw it earlier, when we first started everything,
Yes.
before we came online to talk, I said, oh, that's an odd piece. Do you know, I know it's not, but for some odd reason, it reminds me of the frog fasteners on clothing, a little bit. The frog fasteners instead of buttons and buttonholes.
Oh,
a little bit. For some, I guess because of the curves.
Mhm.
I know what
in the center.
I know what you're talking about. Hold on, just for fun, okay?
Okay.
All right, I'll do a show and tell, and that way I think it'll maybe bring it into a little bit more perspective. I'm in my studio. You can see it's kind of dark in here, and I'm sorry for that, but it's the best I can do. It's just a dark afternoon, but maybe that's a little better. Yeah, but anyway, you can see it's fairly sizable. It's bigger than a button. You guys,
Okay. That's nice. I like the shadow in the back of it.
Yeah, yeah. So the size is, the presentation size is 37 by 37. So yes, thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So any other comments or questions to Judith?
Oh, I like the ballerinas. I used to ballet.
By the way, guys, I am an eco artist because I use all found metal and repurposed wood.
Oh, that's very good.
Great, great.
Yeah.
Great.
And I'm going to have to apologize. I have to go and
Right.
get ready and get in the car and head for my other opening. And I hope you all have a wonderful afternoon.
Good for
Thank you, Judith. Thank you, thank you, thank
Happy
you.
holidays.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, that was wonderful. That was wonderful. So thank you. So this is Ana Gadish Linares. Ana is a first-generation Cuban American artist currently residing in the East Bay area in California. She began her formal arts education at the University of Florida, where she earned a bachelor degree in fine arts with a minor in art history. The university and the city of Gainesville, Florida, yay, my alma mater as well.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, provided several exhibition opportunities for the emerging artists, including a show titled Memento Mori, a citywide juried exhibition at the Hippodrome.
You know the Hippodrome.
I do, of course. And annual events hosted by the university's art department. I did work for the art department for years.
Oh my gosh, why haven't we chatted about this?
I know. Such as
That's
the
so
Art
funny.
Bash Arts Festival. Anna continued her education at Boston University and earned a master's degree of science in arts administration from Boston University in 2014. In the years she spent studying creative businesses and cultural entrepreneurship, Anna created several original brands: Artsana Studios, Artsana Collage, signature patterns, floriography, tarot, and Lucky Elephant by Anna. You have to tell us about some of that. Anna is now living in California, and she continues to work as a practicing artist and freelance graphic designer. Her work can be found all over the US in homes and in galleries, including the Sederberg Art Museum, Envision Arts, Knox Contemporary Gallery of Art, Las Lagunas Gallery, and the Contemporary Art Gallery online. Since 2020, Anna has won 2 Best in Show awards, as well as 2 honorable mentions, a Special Merit Award, and 2 Special Recognition Awards for her arts and photography. Yay! Anna.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here and for showing your art and for caring about this really important topic. And it is a global issue, feminine,
Definitely.
gender equality. So you have one piece in the whole show, but it's loaded with great information. And I'd like you please to tell us a little bit more about your feelings about this Femme Champions, and also anything else that you'd like to share with us right now.
Absolutely. I'm happy to. This piece, it sort of came out of a lot of the stress of the pandemic. And, you know, after the 2016 election, a lot more stress was occurring in my life and the lives of those around me, generally speaking. So I had a lot of, so this was kind of brewing, and I was also very inspired by the work of Kehinde Wiley, who you may know as the presidential portrait painter,
Yes.
Who made the most amazing portrait of Barack Obama with the plants in the background. That's sort of his aesthetic. He draws, he does these like larger than life paintings of Black and brown people in European style, European poses, these like regal paintings that, you know, used to be only reserved for the richest of patrons. You know, I was never used to seeing anybody who looked like that on a painting that was so big and so beautiful in a museum. So my whole family is Cuban, and I'm the first generation. So I was the first one born outside of Cuba, and my grandfather used to say that I was born outside of Cuba by accident because they didn't want to leave. They had to leave, you know, due to political unrest. And the same grandfather was actually a political prisoner for 3 years during the whole Fidel Castro uprising in 1960 or 1959 was when he got all involved. And it was definitely, it's pervasive on both sides of my family. So both my parents were child refugees, and their parents were like young adults fleeing with their kids. So a lot of this anti-immigrant hate and a lot of this just inequality that was happening in my periphery during those years, which is also, I guess, my coming of age as I was in my late 20s and now I'm in my early 30s. Coming of age, I mean, coming into adulthood. It sort of like realigned a lot of things for me. So Kehinde Wiley, all this stress, and I saw this portrait of a person. I actually don't know who the original person is, I have to admit, although I would give anything to find out who she is. I found this photo, the original source image, in a box of old family photos, but I don't think she's directly related because it was in a box of like little postcards of people sent to my family. So I have a feeling this is like a close friend or something, and she was dressed exactly like this. I added the voting stickers, which I don't know if you can see as that closely. Yes. The fact that they're I voted stickers. And when I first saw this this portrait, this photo, I imagined her kind of like holding a weapon. I saw her like with a rifle. But I didn't like that. That's not my aesthetic. I don't usually use weaponry, nor is that something I really want to say. So I gave her the role of voting stickers. She's armed still, like it has that feeling of her being armed, but she's doing it peacefully and she's doing it democratically. And my reference to Kehinde Wiley, of course, is the floral background, because he does a lot of these like really elegant Victorian, Rococo style, beautiful ornate backgrounds with like a seated elegant person in the front. And also, even though my family is pretty white passing, this is a brown person on the portrait, and I don't know if that many had been done, but it was definitely cool to see someone who like represents me, kind of is me, looks like me. I mean, could have been me. I was like, in period costume.
Mhm.
And also she looked just like a suffragette, and she might have actually been a suffragette. If I knew anything about this woman, she might have actually been one, because, she looked ready to go to a protest with a sash around her shoulder.
Right.
So that's also a reference to the fact that this was painted in 2020, which was only 100 years after women achieved the right to vote. So not that long.
Right. Wow. Wonderful, beautiful. And thank you for honoring Kehinde Wadley, his aesthetic, and you've done it so beautifully here. And you've really conjoined so many great ideas for women in this photo. So thank you for that. And the colors that you use, even the carpet is great. And so I see you love shadows too, like Judith here, you have the shadow. So well done. And please, anybody who would like to give a, let me click this one. Okay, I have so many different places on the internet where people can find your work, right? And purchase your work as well. So guys, please unmute yourselves if you have any feedback you'd like to impart to Anna.
Well, this is Bob Davis. Can you hear me?
Yes, hi, Bob.
The thing that the woman's holding on to looks like a snake. Is that purpose?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a roll of voting stickers when unfolded could totally look like a snake.
But it looks like a snake to me.
I thought it was a snake when I first saw it too.
Yeah.
I did. I thought it was a snake.
At least it got you to look a little closer. But if it's a snake,
but right.
That's a very American snake.
Right.
The one that says, "Don't tread on me."
Yeah.
It's the one that says, "Oh yeah, I guess the I voted sticker, but the snake was from Don't Tread on Me." That's a conversation, right?
Yeah, that's
also,
right.
That's a juxtaposition of the two kind of sides of the aisle.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow. That's nice.
But the background's beautiful too, your flowers.
Yep.
Thank you.
Roses.
Those were digitally painted and then tiled. So I did this much of it and then tiled.
Right.
Also, fun fact, the background was going to be mustard yellow, and I saw a version of it today, and I'm really glad I didn't go with that. And also the entirety of the pencil part was done, or 80% of it was done while watching former President Trump's coronavirus press briefing, because I was very anxious and very scared, and I didn't make the smoothest of strokes, which I think adds to the character and texture of the piece.
Yeah, it doesn't look unsmooth at all. Yeah.
I wasn't smooth at the time.
Very good. And I also like the juxtaposition of the black and white imagery that you have against all the color. Even you also added the color into the voting stickers, which I thought was brilliant.
Thank you.
Beautiful, well thought out, I believe. And her hat, of course, her hat. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of my pieces have been, I started mostly doing collage. So this piece, although it's a digital illustration and drawing, it looks a lot like my collage work, which usually will have Victorian patterns and textures with family photos and old kind of antique style photographs in the foreground as the character. So a lot of times I feel like my main figures don't have color, and I just translated that automatically. I didn't even think to give her any color at all.
Well, yeah. I think you definitely have I want to say you've been able to transform the digital media into what you do for yourself, which is the collage. So you're truly true to yourself, your artistry, your aesthetic of making things look like a collage, no matter what you do. It's sort
It
of
was
like,
a little bit of an accident, but yes, it's
right. No,
interesting
but
how
it's
your
not,
voice
it's,
comes out. Yeah.
right. I want to say it's not an accident. It's your spirit. You have the spirit of this aesthetic and you carry it through no matter what medium you use. So I want to say to artists who say that they're not sure if they want to do photography, if they want to do painting, sculpture, whatever it is, you yourself, you're going to bring it. No matter what medium it is, you're going to bring it. So
and
again,
you can do other mediums. I also have a photography practice,
right.
and I studied digital media. So I mean, you can be an artist of all trades.
Right. But you, the artist, remain. You remain. You find out more about yourself the more you actually explore. But your spirit, it's you. It's like your fingerprint. That doesn't change. It does not change.
That's exactly right. It's the artist's hand, the artist's voice.
Right.
That's beautiful, Carol.
Yeah. I try my best to make sense of what I see, and I share that with you guys. So not everybody comes to the gallery talks, but those who do, I want to just say again, thank you for spending time with this, because to me it's very important as an artist to be able to just have conversations with your fellow artists. You know, it really is. And you can hear how they see your artwork, and you can sort of compare notes and see, wow, you know, like I'm sure you thought of a snake too, Anna. You know, not that you
I don't think I ever thought of that.
Okay, well, for us, it's like is very obvious. For you, it's like maybe not, you know. But it's
you see it all at once, and I saw it like
right,
you know, through a microscope, and now I'm like, oh, of course.
Yeah. And it's sort of like the scales were turned into the buttons, you know, the stickers, you know. So
it's funny because I always think that your art is almost like a child, in the sense of, you know, you put it out into the world, and then whatever it becomes, whatever people see in it, like it's almost none of my business, you know.
Right.
Like, if that's what you see, like amazing. I didn't intend that, but like I didn't intend half the things. I bet that, you know, that came out.
But just remember,
like I make the.
We're all a part of each other. We breathe the same air. What we're breathing, what you're breathing in California makes its way to New York. You know what I mean? We're all connected somehow, some way. And so the information that we gather is shared information, you know.
Universal.
Yeah, it is. And that's the truth of the matter. So with this piece of art, I think we've had a good conversation. So unless anybody has anything else to say and share with Anna, we'll move along. All right.
I'm Jima.
Jima
House. Yes, and this is my first time piping up on the talk. I just want to say that this image inspires for me. It's feminine, but she's also embracing self-determining, a spirit of being self-determined. The dress strikes me. It's so feminine, but it looks, you know, with a texture, it almost looks like it's out of denim. And then is that a holster? You know, it's part of the decoration on the top. Looks like maybe, you know, that where she can put her bullets. You know what I mean? It's so feminine, but it's
like
also,
the ammunition snake, I guess.
I don't know. Is that a part of the dress, or is that where she puts her bullets? It's the yoke at the top.
That's totally that is like, you know, the interpretation that can be thrown in. Like that obviously wasn't necessarily, or not obviously, but it wasn't necessarily what was on my mind as I was making it. But like now I sort of love it. Like that that that's coming out in the conversation.
It really gives me embrace your power, and I love it, and I appreciate what you've done here. It's absolutely beautiful. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you for the kind words. That really makes me feel like I want to make another one.
Good.
Yeah,
like
make her
more.
over and over.
More.
Good,
Yeah.
good. Keep it up. Keep it up. Let her go into the 21st century. You know, with you know,
maybe without a face mask next time.
Be empowered. Yeah. Whatever you decide. You know.
Yeah.
She'll be double vaccinated and boosted.
Or not.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you guys so much. I have learned more about my piece, I think, than I have making it.
Wow. Thank you, Anna. Thank you very much. So we're going to move along, and we have, let's see, Robert. Robert, I believe you're back with us, right? Is he? Uh-oh. I hope he's okay. Okay, so who would like to go next that's here? All right, so let me introduce Robert V.P. Davis. Robert is a native of Baltimore, Maryland. He studied at the Maryland Institute College of Art, earning a diploma in fine arts painting. His work as a painter, sculptor, designer, and illustrator has been exhibited in Baltimore, Washington, D.C., New York, Virginia, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Chicago, Utah, Texas, Arkansas, and Los Angeles, as well as in Sinop and Ankara, Turkey. Over the years, he has received commissions, numerous awards, and made many sales. Very good. So I'm going to read his statement. To me,
I was going to ask you, please.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I cut in. I didn't realize what you're going to do.
Oh, no, that's okay. I was going to read your statement. As it's short and your bio was short, I have enough time to do both. So, okay. So I'll read your statement. To me, the world of art is magic. It takes me to many faraway places. It speaks in many languages. This is one reason why my work is so diverse. I have explored many different subjects with both realist and abstract interpretations. These are my trips, short bursts of energy. Okay, from within. Again and again, I see that I must take a new road on my journey through this world. With all my heart, I try to transform myself and the viewer metaphysically so that we are left to interpret the work in our own way, leaving us in only, if only momentarily, somehow different than before we saw it. Thank you, Bob, for being with us today. And I would like you, first of all, I want to show your video. I want to show your video that I made for you because to me, it helps to explain how I feel about the art as well. And in your words, how you feel about the works itself. So let me show it here.
Love that.
Okay.
You do such great work, Carolyn.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it's wonderful
want
what
to
you do.
thank you, Bob. Thank you. Tell us about, you know, being that these are nude images of women. I wanted to definitely put it out there, not curtail it, not hide it, because society is trying for women to hide their bodies, for them to be ashamed of their breasts. For, you know, you in these images, you're not taking advantage of the women. You're not giving an idea that this is something lewd, right? And
Right.
and many artists come to me and they say, is it okay for me to show what I want to show? I've been taken down from other places before because of this, that, and the other. And I want to say that when you showed these pieces, I wanted to make sure that they're shown, make sure that they're talked about, make sure that they're in the context of Femme champions, because I believe the female body is a natural thing. It shouldn't be hidden. You know, we don't have to walk around naked, obviously, but still, what's the problem? So with that said, you go ahead. You talk to us, Robert. Tell us about your pieces and your idea of this show. What came to you to enter this show?
Well, I mean, I work so much in the nude figure, but the thing is all my women are very strong. They aren't any weaklings, if you look at it. And, you know, and then you see a little Matisse in there on this one piece. And I just tried different things. This one's on vinyl street. I stretched it on a stretcher, the smaller one down the bottom there.
Uh-huh.
So I do different things with what I show. And like I said, and then it gives you a three-dimensional aspect in the painting, just slightly, but you get it. And it changes, of course, depending on where the light is and what you're doing, you know, that type of thing.
Right.
Just like with photography, when you're taking a photograph, like where I'm sitting, all of my light is coming on my right side because that's where my windows are. And the other side's dark, but it's nice that way. You sort of split up instead of just a flat face. But anyhow,
you've done these in 1970. So these are just, so you've been really doing your work for decades. And
right.
As we know, the gender equality idea is also decades and decades and decades. So talk to us about what is also the ages and how was it back in the 70s for you as a male, for the women?
As a male, art was exploding in that time as far as I was concerned. Mm-hmm. You know, the early 60s, 70s was just, you know, of course, you know, there were the peace marches and all that type of thing, which I got into in Washington. But I mean, you know, these kind of things are just, the thing is the women in these things are very strong, and and they're different colors too. And I've never painted people white, or, you know, very seldom. I've tried and I say, no, I don't like that.
Right.
Most of them are, you know, darker skin, or, you know, they're not, you know, like I say, not white women, mm-hmm. even though they have a white woman's look, mm-hmm. you know, because that's what I'm, you know, my mind is in that vein. Mm-hmm. But and of course, like I say, the one looks like Matisse. But the thing is I went into the service right out of school, and I went to Sinop, Turkey, and myself and some other guys set up a gallery or a studio right on the coast. And it's a hardship because there's no women.
Right.
You know, where we were in Sinop, we were on the edge and we're watching, you know, the fireworks of the Russians shooting off rockets, and we were scared to death what they were going to shoot off next.
Right.
And that's what we were doing. We were tracking all that. But anyhow, I recruited 45 days while I was there for 1 year. It was. Usually people go there, stay there for 6 months, but I was painting the whole time. As soon as I got off the job, I was going in painting. Anyhow, I went and took 45 days and saw all of Europe's great work, just about. I did it all. I caught a train, and then I would go to the next stop, whatever it was. You know, you just go right up, the Italian peninsula, and then go down or come down and go up onto the French side and just about cover all the great art. I mean, I saw Mona Lisa where I was standing like 25 inches away from her, something like that. I mean, there wasn't all this stuff like it is now. It's all in glass and covered up and everything. You had to be so many feet away. You could go right up to Michelangelo's David in Florence. It was right outside still. So all these things were just wonderful. It was a wonderful experience. And then I hooked up with my mother and my brother. My brother was in Germany. I was in Germany then because that's where they were going to transfer me. And my sister, we all met there, and we had, 5 or 6 days together. So it was, a wonderful time for me. And, and I would, I went swimming in the, what is that water down there in Italy? Can't think of it, but in Mediterranean. Yeah, Mediterranean. And, it was just a wonderful experience.
Nice.
So that's I guess how I feel about it. I mean, if you have any questions or something, please ask me.
This one is your largest piece. It's 78 inches wide by 49 high. This is huge.
Right. Well, I did a lot of those pieces. I got a whole studio back there full of stuff.
Wow.
That size. And some of them I got where I hooked them together. So there are 2 or 3 canvases hooked together. So you can get it out of the, I'm in a 3-story row house.
Okay.
And you had to figure out how to do it. So that's what I did. Chop them up into panels.
Panels, right. I
had that energy when I was that young.
Right.
To take those kind of things on.
Right. And this is the last piece here. The one, the dance.
Right. That's very much influenced by the woman I was dating at the time. Okay, beautiful. But you can see there again, they're black and they're white. They're not, they aren't one genre. They're,
right.
It's.
All right. Well,
thank you for everything.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, I couldn't do this without you guys. I mean, it just is impossible. So does anyone please share your thoughts about these paintings and the ideas behind them, and any other things you'd like to tell Bob about his work. So you can unmute yourselves now, and please give us some of your feedback. What comes to mind for you when you see these pieces? And what
beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
All of them seem to be very busy. They're not just sitting around.
Right.
Yes. What I would like to say is that I don't know what the problem with the female body in the art world. I mean, like in some exhibition, they cover the nipple of the women. They do a lot of stuff. But from the Renaissance period, the sculptures are pure nude, and the paintings are pure nude. I don't see why in our own modern days, with all the craziness they are doing with women, I don't know why people should be offended when you do the painting or drawing. I mean, I don't know the difference between appreciation of beauty and abuse of women's body in this modern world. I mean, I like this painting, I mean, the drawing here. You show the elegance of women and the way they dance and everything. I mean, I like it. I don't see anything offensive in doing the painting of women's body. I mean, like most of the time, I have many work I want to do. Is like a pure note of women body, which is beautiful. So I don't know why the art world these days has something to say about the picture of women. No.
Yeah. Yeah, we agree. We don't understand, what's the, but then we don't understand why there's no gender equality either. I mean, we probably do. It's a matter of power and control, but that's not going to get us to, I mean,
well, you go to the museum, you see the sculpture of David standing with all the things dangling down. Nobody say anything about it. So I don't know why everything. I mean, women's future is beautiful, but I don't know why there should be offense to do the painting and drawing of women. I like this drawing.
Right. Thank you, Oyemi. Thank you.
I was going to say that I was in my 20s in the 1970s. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
I can hear
you.
Oh, okay. And I was right here in Washington, D.C. And what I remember about the 70s was there was an expression of the joy of our bodies then. I remember going to what was called Be-Ins at Peace Street Beach. I remember the book, Our Bodies, Ourselves. I think that was the title of it. Was out around that time. And so this sort of reminds me of the joy in our being in the 70s, especially.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
There was so much energy in the 70s, 60s, in that area, in the arts at that time. That's where Warhol and all that gang came through in that area. And there were all these other artists that were doing stuff. I mean, there were a lot of magazines and newspapers were being created by just people, sort of hooking up with somebody and creating a paper. We had one in Baltimore, I know, and it was I can't remember the name of it, but it was always this great design stuff. I mean, it was powerful stuff. It was going on the covers and stuff. It was amazing.
Wow. And I want to applaud you, Bob, for actually still doing your artwork, even when you were enlisted, even during the war there, I mean, that must have helped you also to manage mentally through that time.
It definitely did.
Yeah. Because I myself know some veterans who have PSTD and things that their minds are just, it's just not good, So art as a therapy is just magnificent. And I'm so happy you shared with us that you did do your artwork after you worked, and that you spent some time being creative and being in that moment of creativity, which is for me the one and only true nurturing for your soul, is to do what your soul does, is to create.
Right.
Yeah.
You're right. Very good.
Yeah. Any other comments or remarks that anyone would like to make about these paintings and
Oh, one other thing, one story.
Sure, go ahead.
I was supposed to have a show in the Morris Mechanic, and I had nudes. And a new guy took over the head of the Morris Mechanic, and they, and they had art shows there. He said I couldn't have it. It was a day or two before I was going to have the show.
Wow.
And you know what happened? I went and talked to a priest, a young guy, and talked to him. He got me a gallery, a show in the Archbishop Baltimore Archdiocese building, right on the first floor.
Wow.
All that stuff up there. Can you get that? I don't know how he did it.
Wow.
I didn't have anything to do with it except I had the art.
Wow. Wow.
And he helped me
good.
out.
See, so what looked bad turned out better, right?
Right.
Right.
That's another story.
And did you tell the first guy what happened, or you just left him alone?
No, I never went back to him or bothered. It's just I don't want any confrontation. There's no reason for that.
Right.
They got enough confrontation from the letters I sent out. To the mayor and all these other people and people in the arts, in Baltimore, just.
Right. Well, good for you. Hats off to you. Good for you.
And of course, that's when I was very young, like 25, I guess, or something. And this is my first one-man show.
Wow.
So there you go.
Wow. Well, I'm happy that your first show actually wound up to be connected with the church. So it validated the beauty of women. So to me, that was even better. Yeah. All right. Any other comments? We're
Carolyn.
Yes.
Carolyn.
Yes.
It's Winifred.
Yes.
When he's talking about his art of the 70s and the paintings, when I look at just that small portion on the right where the women are dancing.
Yes.
I remember in the 70s, and Sandy can relate to this, we did a lot of what they call interpretive dancing. And that area there reminds me of the art of interpretive dancing, which they don't seem to put a name on it now. But it's just beautiful, just beautiful. They're expressing themselves. They're interpreting whatever it is that they feel through dance.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you, Winifred. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments? All right. So we are going to mosey along. Thank you, Bob. Thank you so much for sharing your art.
Thank you.
And your
work
history.
you're doing. You're amazing.
Thank you. I will love to introduce you. Let me get to your page. Jayashree Samal is a UX web designer based in Washington, D.C. Although she is a designer by profession, she is also a painter at heart. Her love for art took her to Cal Arts, where she discovered design. Her artistic journey took many turns. All along, she has pursued her interest in painting and illustrating. She started background. Later on, it expanded to universal women's issues, where her work explores unique aspects of women's vulnerability and their struggles with family and relationships. Thank you, Jayashree.
Thank you.
Let us look at your pieces here. I think you have 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you have 4.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about this one here. Is my absolute favorite of the 3 because it's minimal, but it's also very strong, and it tells what it's telling immediately. And this one is called Mother and Child, the Most Magical Feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So please tell us a little bit about this piece, and also anything more you'd like to share about yourself as an artist and your role that and why you've come to this exhibition for gender equality.
Okay, I know. Would it be okay to talk about another piece, because that relates? I mean, I know this artwork you love the most. This is mostly like mother and child. Yeah. But let's talk about this 1,000 Dreams Saturn.
Okay.
This, I wanted to relate to my story for gender equality.
Okay.
So this is the global phenomenon. In 2000, although I have many female champions, for this exhibition, I chose myself to be the Femme champion.
Okay.
Because in 2017, I really went through a difficult transition in my life. And my marriage had fallen apart. I lost my family, my house, my husband. And so that was the time I really connected with my higher self. I had all along for the last 20 years, I worked as a designer, but I really didn't spend quite a lot of time doing artwork. But this period really forced myself to express through art. So that served me as a therapy for healing myself. And I sort of realized many important talents and beliefs, and empowered myself. And I just felt that this piece was very important to gender equality, because how women can really go through difficult time and still be strong and not fall apart. And so that's the reason I chose this piece for the gender equality, because this was a recent piece. And it shows that in spite of all this dark period, but still it's very colorful, and you can always dream again and find strength in yourself. And, adversity is not necessary, like don't think of it as a bad thing, but maybe it could be an opportunity to find the divine and empower yourself.
Wow, well said. I have a question about the rope here on the left side that's in the shape of an S. Can you talk about that? Because it stands out to me in this piece.
Yes. I put that rope as that, how you mind could be limited. Instead of, tying it, you could always sort of expand on it and free yourself. So I kind of thought that rope as a symbolic, and I just put it like there. I mean, looking at other women, other who have gone through difficult time in their life, you could really find some kind of inspiration, not to and look up to it. So there is a little women's face also there, you see, right?
Yes.
And I didn't make the art sort of dark and I just thought that in spite of all this, the sadness was there. But still, I was able to dream and feel happy that, I could do such beautiful artwork, and it's so colorful. I could envision all this other stuff. So that art became like a sort of therapy for me, myself.
Good. Wow. So thank you for talking about the rope. So it's sort of like representing freeing yourself from being tied up. Very good.
Instead of tying yourself or imprisoning yourself, you could tie yourself mentally too, right? So the rope is open up, right? It's not tying your mind up like a prison. It's open, and you could just open it up, and it could be a path, it could be a opening to a new life, new opportunities. How you perceive it. How the mind can perceive it, right?
Excellent. Thank you so much. Wow. Very, very nice. Let's look at your other pieces here. You have one that's called, I think, Sisters.
Yes, Sisterhood.
Right? Sisterhood, yes.
let me read that sisterhood.
Sister of my soul.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can we read the writing on the sisterhood?
Sure. It says, why does sisterhood start and what keeps it going? Two friends who click on every level imaginable. The yin to your yang. The friend who keeps the conversation going. The tears and laughter flowing. The friend who keeps the inspiration uplifting. The wisdom calming. Each one is unique with unique talents, not sister by birth, but from the heart, the sister who chooses you and whose soul you connect.
I will speak a little bit about this artwork.
Very nice.
Actually, this was this time period when my marriage fell apart, and this is a long story. I had gone to attend someone's wedding in California, and a friend whom I had not kept in touch for the last 25 years, she saw me and she could see so much of sadness. And then after I returned, she connected with me. Then she and I sort of talked on an everyday basis, and every day she would inspire me. She is an artist, but she's a dancer. But she sort of understood me and was holding my hand through this time. And every day she would inspire me, focus on your talent, do some artwork, do this. So this was, so I felt like as if she was like like an angel who has been sent to my life to save me. And although I don't have a sister, but I felt like she was my sister in my spirit, and who uplifted me, who sort of saved me.
Yeah. Wow, that's wonderful. A beautiful story. Beautiful story. Thank you. So you have, I love the way you have the shadow. Almost you've united the two women into one image there. Very, very cool. Very
cool. You like that, or that the bottom part, the reflection part, right?
Yes, the reflection part, the two become one. Very good.
Yes.
Very good.
And also knowingly, I made this sort of grayscale. And only when the two friends, so you see they're holding hands each other, and that's the only color thing in the whole painting.
Sure.
And I think many of the people, when this, I sent the link of this exhibit, they like this piece a lot, this sisterhood.
Wow, very good. Very good. Well, remember, let's see here, if I click on this at the bottom. Oh, that's the only one. But we remember, you should definitely tell them that the original is available, and once the original sells, that they can purchase your prints as well.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. So okay. And now I can talk a little bit about the mother. That's your favorite one, mother and child, right?
Well, now that you've told me all about, it's only visually, this one is like,
very powerful.
Yeah. This one's very powerful because, and also it's very universal. It's everybody understands mother and child.
Yes.
So please tell us about this one.
Okay. I did a series of painting on mother and childhood, how like women experience motherhood, and every culture, like whether be it African or American or Indian, mothers feel the same way towards their children. So I sort of focused on that part, like how our bonding to our child. And this artwork is, I just did it like a minimal way.
Yes.
So anybody can interpret. It's not exactly like an Indian woman, but it could be any women, right?
Sure.
So how mothers can unconditionally love their children, and this is for myself. I felt that no matter how much pain we go through in our life, raising our children, going through a difficult journey, we still feel so much unconditional love for our children. And for me, this was the most blissful period of, I think, that a woman could experience motherhood.
Wow. And can you tell us, it's interesting that the child is, there's no gender. You can't tell if it's a little girl or a little boy. You know, that's great.
Yes.
So, and I think we have one more. Forgive the landline. I can't stop that right now.
Yeah, I had the same thing a little while ago.
Yeah, sorry guys. Okay, so this one.
Yes.
The awakened spirit.
Yes.
I'm gonna mute myself so then, oh, it stops.
Okay.
Okay.
This mostly, I would say this is an abstract piece where when I felt my mind was not limited, I just wanted to experiment, how, what can I do with colors? And I sort of dropped the colors into the paper to see how it is flowing and the fluidity of colors. So
this is alcohol ink on Youpo paper.
Yes.
So is this the first time you've used this?
Yes.
Okay. So this was an experimental piece for you.
Yes, experimental piece. But this also, after my difficult time, when I became more spiritual and I connected with my divine, I felt like I wanted to experiment. I didn't want to be restricted by any notion or anything that could restrict my mind.
Yes.
And I didn't want to also start the art with a preconceived idea that, okay, this is what I want to draw, or this is what I want to do. Nothing like that. I said, okay, I just wanted to create something. What I create, I don't know. Let me just start with something. So that's like just to experiment the freedom of the mind.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Now you have, because you've done this as an experiment, I can see that you have, did you take the Youpo paper and rotate it while you were doing it? It looks like
That's what I did is I dropped the things and I was holding the paper. This was the process, and I kept moving it here and there, you know, and the colors sort of flew. And then I observed how the colors are moving in which direction. And then as soon as it got absorbed to the paper, then I drop another ink. Then I kept moving. And then they, sometimes they move this way, sometimes they move that way. Okay. And until I was satisfied with how the composition is coming about. Because I just played with the idea.
Okay. And I like your inspiration. It was just to be creative and just to experiment. I would say that you could also master this because you already know how you can control certain things. And the more you practice it, the more you can control it. And then you can preconceive somewhat of what you want to establish, knowing what the aesthetic, knowing what the inks do and how they interchange with each other. Now you can see, you can actually create with more control because you already see what's there. So you can now dictate the colors, what you've already dictated, the color scheme, but the shape, the final shape. But it's beautiful. And I'm happy that you were able to allow yourself that luxury. For us, it's a luxury to just experiment and to be free, right?
Yes.
And I think so that's a good testament to people when they're going through something difficult, to just not hang on to that difficulty, but go someplace else. Just free your mind like a rope. Free that rope, untie yourself from what you already know and do something new. So thank you for sharing that story with us.
Thank you. And this was the first, the alcohol ink I experimented. Then the second piece, the 1000 Dream that so that was also alcohol ink.
This one, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. So
once
yes,
I learned how the ink works, and then I had more control and I created this piece.
Exactly. So it's beautiful. It's so right here you can see how you've grown in that experiment. And it's wonderful.
Yeah, sometimes new medium can create some kind of challenges for you.
Yeah,
and you have to figure out what the challenge is and how you can master it. But I don't want to restrict ever to any one kind of medium. Okay, I want to stick to acrylic or this. I love to experiment with different medium because different medium gives different kind of feelings to the art.
Good, right, yeah. But we also remember that you can stick to one or two medium, and within that medium you can find other factors of your art where you can explore.
Yes.
You see, so it's not necessarily that you stop, because you can master each medium even further, deeper.
I know if you stick to one medium, you can really master that medium and produce all different kind of art. But since I have not been doing artwork for a long time, I just felt like, I wanted to experiment with this.
Sure.
With the new medium, let's see how. And why the medium appealed to me was that is washable, and once you create the ink, you can with your brush wash out the ink and create the shapes and bring out the artwork in that way.
Okay, good, very good. So I don't want to hog all of the other artists' time to share their feedback with you, so please guys share your feedback with Jayashree. You can unmute yourselves and tell her what you think about the pieces, and I'll go back to her main page so you can see all 4 at one time.
Well, the big eye it just jumps out at you. And of course, like Picasso used the eye so much in his work. That's where you can see out and you can see in. And it's larger than anything on the face. So it is important. She's trying to tell you that the eye is important, which it is. We see so much. We, take down information and everything through your eye.
Yeah.
So it's, to me, it's very powerful, that eye in there. It has a lot of meaning.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Bob. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Bob.
Yeah, this is Hubert's work. These were his 3. Yeah, I think he he's not here with us anymore. Sorry about that, Hubert. But we did talk about his work in the previous one, the UCT couples. These are the United States colored troops. And he was talking about how the wives were there for their husbands. And also this one, Beside the Still Waters. And this one, he said, is inspired by nature and, like Mother Nature. Okay. Would anyone like to make any comments about the show itself, or how this has impacted your ideas about gender equality? Because the artists had come together to share and to remind us all about gender equality, or anything that's come to mind. We have a few more minutes before we end. Does this mean you guys are ready to say goodbye? Is this true? Well, I'd like to say thank you. And for those who had come a little late, I just want to say that we are going to extend the Femme Champions Art International show for 1 month. So we're going to continue it not till the end of December, but through the end of January, so, as a thank you, so that I can catch up on what was slowed down by my family situation. So thank you for that. And thank you for being here today. And if there are any other closing remarks, I'd like to say have a great rest of the weekend.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you, Carolyn. And I think this
Thank
is
you.
a great topic. And I think art can really bring a lot of awareness about gender equality.
Yeah. And yeah. And also, you know that our next show is about health and urbanization, right?
Oh, that's how I want to talk about that health and urbanization. You see, are you collaborating with another company?
We're collaborating with this isn't an art company. This I'll show you. Let me share something with you. Okay, share. Okay, so this is Urbanization and Health, right? So this company, Urban and Health, they are sponsoring it. And they, the founder of this company is also one of our board members. So she really loves what we do as an art organization, and she wanted to ask us to have artwork around urbanization and health. You know, how health is experienced by the poor people in urban cities, right? There's a lot to that. So you can also go to their website to find out more, Oyemi, about them, urbanhealth360.org. And if you go to the artist call, at the bottom, you can see our co-sponsors. You can click on their logos and go and visit their websites.
Okay.
Right. So I'm gonna be sending more videos and so forth and more marketing about this. We have a whole more than 2 months as our well, a little less than 2 months now for the deadline. The end of January is the deadline. So, and the here, where is it? At the top, I think there are theme options. Yeah. So where it says theme options, this is where you can get ideas. If you want to talk about COVID, if you want to talk about health care in general, the urban environment, right? And lastly, water, sanitation and hygiene. So this video here shows all the junk that's put on a beach, and you see this person walking at the bottom, walking around. He's probably trying to find some stuff that he can sell, right? Mm-hmm. So, and I believe you have submitted artwork. Oh, Yemi, I believe you have. So thank you for that.
I submitted about 2 or 3 works.
Yeah. So thank you. So it's open for you guys to send your artwork in. There's no exhibition fee. The sponsors are covering all the costs so that you can, send in your artwork. Don't be shy. It's here at the top, entry form, right? That's where you send it in. You want more information, you could read the information here. They're sponsoring the awards. There's about $1,000 that they've put aside for awards, and you can read more about there. Everybody who's in the show will get a certificate of participation. They'll have 3 honorable mentions. And again, as you know, all of these will have the certificates for such. So you can add it to your CV or your resume, right? So, okay. So
your scrapbook.
Right. Extravagant, exactly. Thank you so much. You've been so patient, and thank you for really being a part of this really important issue that's happening around the globe. And hopefully eventually women will be, you know, that there won't be an issue anymore, right? But we can chime in with our art and how we feel about it as artists. Okay.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn, for all your.
You're welcome.
Great job.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Happy
guys.
holidays.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays.
Thank you. Happy holidays, everyone.
Stay safe, all of you.
Take care.